Accordingly, effective immediately, I am banned.
Gotta stop, bro. So Brittney Griner has just been suspended for the entire season, as in the last week she has done some of the most diabolical things we have ever seen.
Shaq lost it, and he did it live for the whole world to see. No PR team, no watered-down statements. He went straight at Adam Silver by name on IG Live. You could feel the tension jump off the screen. Silver looked shook. The man didn't know what hit him. His face went from calm to straight up exposed. He definitely didn't see this kind of heat coming, especially not from Shaq. And now, that moment is everywhere. TikTok, ESPN, WNBA Twitter, Reddit, all lit up with the clip. But to really understand why Shaq went off like that, we gotta rewind. This wasn't just some random rant. It came from a deep, building frustration that
change all the time. You mentioned the NBA. The three-point debate this year, I feel like, has gotten furious, and it's lasted for like 2 months. One thing that I hear people suggest is maybe get rid of the sideline threes because they're actually closer. When it comes to changing a game and changing the rules, it does seem like it's a little bit different when you're changing the actual playing surface or the court. When you sit in a room, do you expect that to get contested and to get heated? And how do you balance keeping history, but also maybe making alterations that could improve the game?
I'm not so concerned about the comparisons of Shaq to Bill Russell necessarily, that to the extent that it becomes a different game, that there's three-point shooting in one era, there's not in another. I think we have to remain contemporary. At the same time, I think we have to be true to the game of basketball. There are certain things, you know, that your 4-point shots, things like that, which strike me as gimmicky. But on the other hand, I think potentially moving a 3-point line. I mean, if you go back, you know, I think it was Red Auerbach thought, you know, it was the end of basketball when the 3-point shot was added. And it took several, you know, years, if not, you know, well longer than a decade before teams really started changing the game.
Been boiling ever since the league started icing out Brittney Griner. Let's be real. Brittney's been in headlines lately, but not for the reasons she should be. It ain't about her game. It ain't about her stats. It's about the way the league's been treating her after everything she's given to basketball. Her story should be about her leadership, her strength, her comeback. But instead, the WNBA low-key just swept her to the side, like she didn't mean nothing. No big tribute, no final farewell, not even a proper send-off. It was cold, almost heartless. Any other player at her level would have been treated like royalty. But with Brittney,
hard for the league to, you know, deal with, but that's happening in our arenas. It's so easy to put some people out there in that arena. It's so easy to put a few people, you know, around the arena that's just there to act like fans and listen and hear what's going on, and to be able to point these people out so we don't have to deal with that. Because me at a game feeling unsafe because we got people chanting me to go back to Russia or I'm un-American and all this other stuff, like, that's when it's like, all right, I can't even focus on the game because, like, I'm trying to figure out what your intentions are, because this world crazy and we've seen some wild things. Anything can happen. I think, yeah, that's something that I would put in or implement.
Silence, just silence. And then the whispers started, that the league was ready to cut ties with her. And not because of injuries or poor performance. Nah, the higher-ups now think she's too controversial. That's when Shaq had enough. Now here's where it gets spicy. Shaq ain't the type to sugarcoat. He's never played that corporate nice guy role. And honestly, his relationship with Adam Silver has always been a little rocky. There's some respect, sure, but no trust. Shaq's kept it real from day one. So when the news hit that Brittney Griner was getting quietly pushed out while Adam Silver was out here smiling, doing press runs, talking about NBA expansion like everything's good, Shaq snapped. He went live on IG and aired it all out. No vague shade, no dancing around it. Shaq called Silver out by name and demanded answers. He said, "Is this how the league treats someone who gave their all for the sport?" Shaq made it clear, you can't claim to be growing the game if you're leaving your own behind. This wasn't just frustration, it was betrayal. And fans watching live? They felt it. Every word Shaq dropped hit like a punch. It wasn't performative. It was real emotion, real pain. And now, the whole internet's watching this moment unfold like a wildfire. Brittney's name started flooding comment sections everywhere. And fans? They were furious. Some were calling for a full-on boycott of the WNBA until the league got its act together. One fan said, "Boycott the WNBA. "Don't support abuse and racism." Another chimed in with, "Time to cancel the All-Star game. This league's a joke. Shut it down and close the doors." That outrage wasn't just loud, it was organized. And it wasn't just fans making noise, sponsors panicking. One major league partner allegedly hit pause on their WNBA campaign without saying a word. Another completely wiped Brittney's image from their site, not because they disagreed with her, but because they didn't want to be dragged into the mess. That's not support, that's self-preservation. This kind of quiet corporate cowardice is exactly what fans have come to expect from brands riding the WNBA wave, quick to partner when things are cute and shiny, but the second it gets messy, they vanish. But this time, the public saw it happen in real time, and they're calling it out. And here's the twist. Shaq's been hinting at this for years. Way back in 2021, after another WNBA player opened up about mistreatment behind the scenes, Shaq dropped a cryptic line on a TNT segment. "Protect the players, no matter what league." At the time, folks thought he was just being general, but now, that quote's everywhere. Clips are getting stitched together. Fans are digging through old footage. The dots are connecting, and it's becoming clear. Shaq knew way more than he was letting on. And now that he's said it plain and direct, with no filters and no PR polish, it's like a light bulb went off for the whole internet. Suddenly, everything makes sense. Now here's where it gets ugly, especially for Adam Silver. For years, he's worn the badge of progressive commissioner, the guy who listens, the one who supports players, takes a stand, and leads with empathy. But now, that whole image is cracking, because when two of your biggest voices, from the NBA and WNBA, start screaming that enough is enough, staying quiet doesn't make you look professional, it makes you look weak. And worse than that, it makes you look guilty. Like you're not just ignoring the problem, you are the problem. And whether he meant to or not, Shaq just lit a fire that the league can't snuff out. Because now, it's way bigger than Brittney. This is about how the WNBA treats its stars, how it handles controversy, and whether anyone in power actually gives a damn. Now the pressure's building fast, not just inside the league, but all over social media, sports talk shows, and even inside locker rooms. More players are starting to speak up, and not just from the WNBA. A few big-name NBA stars have started reposting clips, leaving shady comments, or liking tweets that are clearly calling the league out. And let's be honest, when that happens, it's not just gossip anymore, it becomes a movement. One former WNBA player even went on a podcast and said, "This ain't new. We've been dealing with this for years. Brittney just happened to be the one that made it public." Boom. Now fans are really paying attention. They're asking questions, pulling receipts, comparing how male players are celebrated for speaking out, while female athletes get sidelined for the same thing. People are realizing the double standard is loud. When an NBA star makes noise, he's called a leader. But when a WNBA legend like Brittney stands tall, suddenly she's too controversial. Nah, people aren't buying that anymore. And the league's response is? Not helping. A couple of vague press statements, some overly polished quotes about valuing all players. It just made things worse. Every time they try to clean it up, it adds more fuel to the outrage. It feels scripted, insincere, like they're scrambling to save face instead of actually fixing the problem. Meanwhile, Brittney herself has stayed quiet, and that silence, it's loud. Fans are watching her socials, waiting for a statement, a hint, anything. But nothing's come out yet, which only adds more tension. Is she being told to stay silent? Is she planning something bigger? Nobody knows, and that mystery is driving the internet wild. Behind the scenes, you already know execs are having emergency meetings, trying to figure out how to spin this, but it might be too late. The narrative's already out of their hands. Fans don't trust the league's PR. Players are fed up, and with Shaq kicking the door open, more people finally feel safe enough to speak out. This ain't just a scandal. This is a reckoning, the kind of moment that forces change or exposes the ones who refuse it. And right now, all eyes are on Adam Silver, waiting to see what he does next. Because if he thinks this storm's going away on its own, he's in for a rude awakening. This whole mess, it's about accountability. It's about truth. And it's about a billion-dollar league that clearly cares more about keeping its image clean than doing what's right. What really stings is that Brittney Griner, the woman at the center of this, still hasn't said much, at least not directly. She recently sat down with Cam Newton and gave a rare glimpse into how she really feels. She talked about how sad it is that the league doesn't protect its players, especially the women who gave it everything. And even though she tried to keep it respectful, you could see it in her eyes. She was holding back, like she didn't want to say too much and risk setting off the people in power. So the big question is, what kind of pressure is Brittney facing behind the scenes? Is she being told to keep quiet? Is she scared to drop the full truth? Because based on what fans have pieced together, something deeper is definitely going on. People close to her say she's feeling used, betrayed. And honestly, who can blame her? Let's not forget, Brittney carried this league on her back when barely anybody else would. She showed up, she fought, she sacrificed. And this is how they treat her? Even if you didn't always agree with her, this ain't how you treat a vet, not someone who built the brand from the ground up. Now look where we are. Shaq called out Silver, publicly. Players backed it up. Fans got loud. Sponsors got nervous. The media's on it. And through all of this chaos, Adam Silver has said nothing. Not even a basic, we're aware of the situation. No apology, no explanation, just total silence. And here's the truth. When leadership disappears, people start making their own conclusions. Right now, the narrative that's spreading is brutal. That the league doesn't care about women, that it only backs players when it's profitable, and even legends can get tossed aside if they become a problem. So now everybody's asking the same thing. What's next? Because this can't be fixed with a couple of tweets and a photo op. There's no amount of PR magic that can erase this stain. And what makes it hit even harder? This whole storm didn't start with some journalist or expose. It didn't even come from Brittney herself. Nope, it came from Shaq. Someone who's seen every corner of this game. Player, analyst, team owner, legend. And when he says something's off, people listen. And they're not letting this go. Adam Silver can hype up new teams all he wants. He can talk about growth, expansion, and the future of the sport. But until he addresses how Brittney was treated, and what that says about the culture of the league, every spotlight he shines will cast an even bigger shadow. This drama, far from over. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and don't forget to turn on notifications because we'll be covering everything as this unfolds. See you in the next one.